Hello. So I thought I'd try making a quick game week 1 video. I don't know whether I'll plan to do videos every game week. I'm just going to kind of play it by ear. Sometimes I just fancy venting, but we'll see as we go. I probably shouldn't, but I like FPL and I always get into it, so I may do. But yeah, I'm not really bothered about likes and subscribers. This channel will just be like me. It's like a vlog, really. I just like venting my thoughts out. So that's the situation. So game week 1, I got smashed, 33 points. So yeah, that was quite possibly one of the worst game weeks I've had in a long time. And it's a bit surreal because at the start of the season, your intuitions aren't quite ready. You aren't quite there yet. And quite often when you have bad game weeks, everyone's had a bad game week, so it's not so bad. But it seems like, I mean, I've seen a few other people with bad game weeks, but seems like most people did quite a lot better. And that minus 24 there, points lost on the field. I mean, I don't know exactly how they worked that out, but last season I only had one game week that was worse than that, game week 29, when I got minus 25 from the field. So as in relatively how much worse I did compared with everyone else. So yeah, bad start. I'm not that bothered. I mean, it's a bit of a bummer. Not that bothered at the moment. I'm kind of thinking the worse I do in FPL, one of the advantages is every season I'm feeling like I really should take a step away from FPL because I get sucked into it because it's quite addictive. I feel like I should take a step away. So whenever I do badly, it's like, that's good. It makes me just take a step back a bit. But at the same time, it would have been nice to have had a good start. That's quite a big loss. So yeah, but of course it's early days. We'll see. So I'm not really panicking. I'm not like it's game week 1, and everybody in my team played. They're all fine. I don't think I've got any. I'm not really. I don't have any impulse to knee jerk or anything. Everybody played. I still picked them for all the same. Nothing's changed in my reasoning of why I picked any of the players particularly. So I'm just gonna roll at the moment. I think my plan is to roll and probably roll until like if I can roll till here till game week 4, that would be great because then you've got 3 game weeks of information. That's a nice little, because like any bit of information we got after one game is like, well, it's just one game. It's hard to tell. 2 games, still not super strong. 3 is like, now you can start to see trends. If Arsenal's XG is crap for 3 in a row, if Gyökeres doesn't score for 3 in a row, all this kind of business, if something happens 3 in a row, then it's a bit more nailed. Maybe you can take a bet on that. And plus the transfer window closes before game week 4 starts. I think it's like 1st of September or something. I don't know when it is, but it starts before game week 4. It ends before game week 4. So I've kind of got that half idea in my mind of like, as long as my players are all fine and playing, I'll just play them. They're all getting the minutes. We'll see what happens after 3 game weeks. At the moment, I'm thinking, I mean, there's a few knee jerks that I could go to. People going to Reinders and Haaland and things like this. But yeah, I'm not feeling it at the moment. Reinders, just to talk about him, is like, I'm not quite feeling that as much as most people, I guess. Firstly, like, Marmoush didn't play, did he, for Man City? And it's like, that's what you get with Man City and with Pep Roulette. And it's like, I don't know, maybe some people think Reinders is going to play every game, but I'm not imagining. I think it's just Pep Roulette. At any moment, Reinders could just not play. Now, if you've got a player who's good enough that you can play him and you don't mind taking that hit of a benching every now and then and a 1-pointer or a 2-pointer or whatever, if you've got a player who's that explosive, it might be worth it. Like a Marmoush, it might be worth it. But with Reinders, I don't think his data looks amazing. And again, maybe this is a Grass FC versus Analytics FC thing, but 0.29 last. Oh, that's this season. So 0.3s. That's kind of where he averages. His XGI 0.3, and his conversion rate is about the same. Really, it's maybe a little bit better. Last season, he obviously got 10 goals and four assists, which is pretty good. But he played a lot of minutes, so 0.4 is pretty good for a 5.5 mil mid, but not amazing. And I think yesterday in the game, I don't think his XGI was actually that good. He scored from quite low low XG chances as well. It was 0.29 again, exactly where his average is. He just massively overperformed with those goals, I guess, and the assist. So Reinders, just, this is my instinct, it just feels to me like the kind of pick that in about 10 game weeks' time, we'll have all forgotten about him. Nobody will be talking about him. Hardly anybody will be picking him. He'll be being transferred out of people's teams. That's my sense with Reinders. But I'm ranked 9 million, so take my advice with a pinch of salt. Yeah, that's my sense with Reinders anyway. Haaland is interesting. Yeah, I started the season without Haaland or Salah, but I was close to going with one of them. And I did think if I was going to go with one, it would be Haaland. And I think what's probably going to happen is I'm going to wait 3 game weeks, and then I'm going to see which players are. I suspect there'll be some players who I can downgrade. I think Saka, if Palmer's not doing it, if Saka's not doing it, because he's probably not on pens anymore. There was that tweet by FPL Kala, I think, that confirmed that Gyökeres is likely on pens, which is probably what you'd expect, really. And it's good, bodes well for Gyökeres' minutes as well and what they're expecting of him. But maybe anyway, I think some of these premiums will probably go down, be downgraded, and there'll be some budget picks that will emerge. And then after that, I'll probably have some money, and then maybe I could upgrade some of these forwards as well. Maybe Fulkrug, who knows? So I think there's a good chance Haaland might come in at some point, but we shall see. This just depends how many other options start doing well or not. Yeah, I'll probably give it 3 game weeks. Yeah, so Verts, some people are coming off, getting a bit nervy about Verts. I'm not really. He got 0.5 XGI in the game, and when he was at, what's his name? Leverkusen, that was his rate as well, and he overperforms. So his normal rate of his non-penalty XGI is about 0.5. That's what he normally is. He's not on pens anymore. But he always seems to consistently overperform. Like it just seems like he's like a good finisher. Like it's not like a accidental thing, like Son or something. So I'm kind of thinking, well, he's probably a 0.7 guy. Then you could probably think of him like more like that than a 0.5 guy. So, and that's what he got in the game, 0.5, and it's like that's about normal. Yeah, so he's just another one. I'm just gonna wait and see. Not panicking on him just yet. I think he could still be. These are all players that I just feel like could be good for the whole season, so I'm not really too worried about them. Yeah, it's funny. I did say that Murillo, Nottingham Forest, that might not be the game that he'll get Defcons from, and I thought Virgil van Dijk probably would in that game. Going back to that DC thing. I mean, maybe I can open it. Actually, I'll just pause it 1 sec. So it was this thing, the Defcon points, the C-bits from last season, centre-backs versus these teams, and what do we have? These are the teams that generated the most C-bits in their opponents. So, you know, I thought Nottingham Forest playing Brentford. Brentford were kind of low. They don't really generate much C-bits in their centre-backs who play them. And Bournemouth were one of those teams that were kind of surprisingly high, even though they don't have a huge amount of possession. They had a lot of failed long passes and stuff, and so I thought maybe Van Dijk would be good against Bournemouth, which turned out to be the way, but then it's quite close. It's still quite hard to read when your defender's going to get C-bits and not. Tarkowski against one of the promoted teams probably shouldn't have generated that much, but he did get his C-bits, his Defcons. So there could be a slight pattern in this data, but it's like it's all very random and rare. It's difficult to kind of tell when a defender's going to get their Defcons or not, which is part of the reason why I went for Murillo instead of Milinkovic in the end, because I just thought the data's not strong enough, the signal's not strong enough for me to really know, and I thought, well, I may as well just go with him because there's still a chance he could get Defcon points, and it's about as random as the chance that Milinkovic has of scoring at any goal, so at any time. So yeah, so that's the team though. Fulkrug I'm a little nervous about. Apparently he played really badly. I'm not too bothered again about all the players that went off. You know, like Chris Wood was in a lot of my drafts, and you're not supposed to say that, but Chris Wood was in a lot of my drafts. Ekatike was very close. I fancied going for him. Haaland, obviously, as well, was close. A lot of the players that did well were all kind of close in my thinking, so I don't feel too bad. I think the only one I noticed was like Reinders was not really that close to me in my thinking. And again, I'm still not close to getting him, but yeah, most of the player Anderson, he was in a lot of my drafts, so it's like I kind of feel like not too bothered. Like my thinking was close, but yeah, just one of those. I think unlucky game week. At least I shouldn't be able to get another red. If I get another red arrow next game week, then we're in trouble. But hopefully it should be all uphill from here, or downhill. What else do I want to say then? I got one bit of luck I had was Senesi. He should have been red carded. So that was like a bit of luck that went my way because he handballed it. And other than that, I pretty much only got one return other than Tarkowski's DEFCON return. Rode on clean sheet, and he was going to be on my bench at one point. So, yeah. One thing I wanted to say was, so I didn't get around to making a video pre-deadline, another one, because I wanted to kind of, I was just I had too much to think about. I was still working on the team. But I wanted to kind of justify why I went no Haaland, no Salah. It's very difficult to know. Like, some people talk about having Haaland or Salah like it's just total suicide to not go with them. Like, it's a total no-brainer. You've got to have them. And I was trying to kind of get a sense of it. Is it crazy to not go with Haaland or Salah? And this is the closest I got. So I made all these drafts. These are a bunch of drafts, different drafts. This one is the main. Compromise Plus was the one I called. That's the main no Haaland, no Salah draft. This one was Haaland draft, and this one was the Salah draft. Kind of forget all the others. And basically, those three drafts were almost identical, apart from a few moving pieces. You got Haaland and Salah, and then there was like Saka goes down to Sarr. You got Watkins and Palmer, and they were just kind of those. There's about three pieces that changed, and everything else was the same. And I just wanted to try and get a sense of like, is it crazy to go without Haaland or Salah? And basically, I started putting all these different bits of data in, and it came out that this draft was actually pretty good. So I've got my data here. Then I also use Solio's data because they allow you to download it at the moment, Solio Analytics. So I put their data in. I still ran it through my FDRs, but it's still a different set of data. And when I use my data from game weeks 1 to 38, so this is the whole season, the Salah and Haaland drafts, these green ones come out a bit better. This compromise draft isn't quite as good. When I look from game weeks 1 to 6, the Haaland and Palmer draft, that came out better. Salah and the no Salah, no Haaland was about even. And so this was all I was looking for at first, was like, is it competitive? Is it crazy? When I used my data for game weeks 1 to 12, though, suddenly this no Haaland, no Salah draft was coming out top. It's coming out the most amounts of points, and it was game week 7 to 12 where it seemed to kind of be, that was where it gets better. So I mean, I know it's a long way off, but at least it made me realise that this draft I've got is competitive at least. But then when I used Solio's data, even from the whole season 1 to 38, it actually came out on top. And this number here on the right is just, it's factoring in the fact that you've got money in the bank, and I put a certain value on that money in the bank as well. So it comes out on top. Game weeks 1 to 6 is kind of even. It actually still comes out technically on top, but only just. So even with Solio's data, it was actually the no Haaland, no Salah draft was actually coming out on top. 1 to 12 definitely comes out on top. And that 7 to 12 region with Solio's data, it's way out on top. Yeah, so, but the only thing I was thinking of was like, I just wanted to get a sense of, is it crazy, or is it at least competitive? And so the fact that it was actually coming out on top a little bit was like, well, that just gave me confidence to go with it then. But the thing with this as well, with your numbers and your analytics and all this business, is like, if you just change Salah or Haaland's numbers, like their average numbers of 7 points per game, 6 points per game, and you just give them a run of like, if they go up to like 10 points a game, 11 points a game, you just throw all this stuff out the window. Like, suddenly Salah is obvious. Salah, you know, a Salah draft will just smash everybody else's. And if Haaland goes up to 10, 11, 12 points a game just for a little phase, then he'll just smash everybody else. And if any of the others, if Gyökeres goes off or Watkins or any of these players, Palmer, it all changes again. And so this is just assuming every player just goes right along where their projected points are saying they're going to stay. But there's just so much variance in the game, and if you've got to kind of predict who you think's going to go above, who's going to have a hot streak. That seems to be the big part of the game. So which is just to say, I don't think I don't really want to take analytics and this points and stuff, all this kind of predicted point stuff to the bank too much. It's just kind of a guide. I'm looking for big things. Like one of my drafts earlier, where I just stacked the attack. I just put loads of money in the attack and just took it all out of defence. And that draft just never comes out good. It's always crap. And so when you see big findings like that, it's like, okay, maybe there's something structural there that I need to avoid. So maybe that's the case. But whenever it's kind of close, I just think, do what you want. Just go with your hunches. Which is why I took out Wood and put Fulkrug in the end, because I just fancied Fulkrug. I thought he looked quite good. Anyway, so that's that. Don't know if there's much. I was going to go through there's loads of like news. Other content creators will go through all this stuff, but like players to kind of keep an eye out for is Josh King for Fulham. He started. He's 4.5 mil. He's interesting. Dubravka started, which is nice. So that's just nice to know. O'Reilly was on pens, but Welbeck wasn't on the pitch. Might be information important. I don't really care about that. Konza, red card. He's suspended for one game. Senesi should have been sent off. Lefay didn't start. These are just a lot of players that I heard being talked about. He didn't actually start, Lefay. Matthias Nunes didn't start. Marmouche didn't start. That was a big one. Trafford in goal, but I think Edison was ill. No Vardio, I think he had a knock or something. No Arias as well. He was another one that a lot of people were looking at. He didn't even start. He started on the bench. Just one to watch, I guess. Tosin was injured. I've got half an eye on Brentford as well, but they're crap, so I probably shouldn't keep too much of an eye on them. But Carvalho is 5 mil mid, and he was playing left wing. Got Dango coming in, so we just need to see who's playing where. And Lewis Potter, it was playing right wing, but he's a 5 million defender. So there's a couple of options here that if they were to nail down a spot, could be interesting. But you got Dango coming in at 6 mil. Jordan Henderson didn't even start. And Rico Henry used to be good. He's a 4.5 mil defender, fullback. But again, Brentford are crap, so probably won't be looking at that. And another slight lesson I wonder about is like players like Wood and Ekitike. I wonder whether the reason I didn't go for them is because they've got competition now. They've got new players coming in. Wood's got he's got Igor Jesus there already, and there's this chap, Callum Muendo, 30 million striker. He scored quite a lot of goals. Here he is here, 17 goals last season, 0.6-ish XGI, like pretty good. So I was put off, but then maybe that's a weak spot because that's competition. Like players with like Ekitike and Wood, knowing that they've got new players coming in, and knowing that they've got new players come in, that's competition. So maybe that's a sign that they might play better because they're worried about the competition coming in. It's a bit like Martinelli when Trossard went to Arsenal. He suddenly started playing a bit better. Martinelli. And for a short-term punt, that might have been worth going for, which could be a weakness in my game, maybe, because I was trying to think very, very solid, just people who are nailed. I didn't want any risk. I didn't want to book in any transfers or anything like that. And FPL is quite a kind of, it's not that long-term a game. You've got to be fairly reactive. So I might have overlooked short-term points for trying to be too secure. So, something to think about. Yep, I think that's all my thoughts though. Yeah, next game week I don't think I'm going to do much. Fulkrug versus Xhaka is a question. I'll probably play Fulkrug even against Chelsea, but Chelsea's defence is a bit mashed up, and I'm kind of hoping there's a theory that teams and players who did badly one game week, they might want to they might be more motivated to play better the next game week. So I'm going to stick by all my players and hope it changes. Thinking of Gyökeres captain, but that feels risky. He was very quiet. That feels very risky. But Palmer was a bit quiet as well, and Saka's not on pens anymore. Then potentially, and Leeds were quite good defensively, so it's all a bit. Don't know. I think Haaland's probably the best captain. I wouldn't. Salah maybe not, but Haaland maybe. But yeah. So that's probably what I'll do. I don't think I'll be bench boosting with Rodon against Arsenal, and I still just want to keep the bench boost till later for now, just in case anything. I mean, I don't really know. It's probably going to be a waste keeping my bench boost, but you never know what could happen in FPL, and there could be postponements, and I still fancy there's a chance of this game week 16 double. I know I've heard a few people say it's very unlikely, but I still think there's a chance. I mean, I think James from Planet FPL said something about they would just play the Crystal Palace if they did have a clash here and they made it to the quarterfinals of the EFL Cup, and they're in the Europa Conference League here. They would just play the EFL quarterfinal on the Wednesday, play the Conference League on the Thursday, and just play a second string team. He said they'll probably just do that, and I just think that's quite unlikely. My opinion would be. Because I don't know if Palace are going to be like Chelsea, where they can get away with playing second string team in the Conference League. I don't know if they're good enough to do that. And they've also got a very thin team, Palace, and they're probably already peed off for even having to be put in the Conference League when they feel it's unjustified. So I think they'd complain about that. I don't think they would, go along with that. So yeah, we'll see. It's still low chance, but I'm still kind of thinking you never know. There could be some kind of like double that emerges. And I think I just want to wait until I've got more information so that when I'm doing a bench boost, I kind of have more confidence in what I'm doing when I've got 6, maybe 10 game weeks of data behind me. Then I know, okay, this bench should be good because it's been good for a while. That kind of thinking. Anyway, yep, I think that's all my thoughts. So I think I will leave it there. Okie dokie. See you later. Bye bye.